After 3 long years away, the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship Awards are finally back. Sadly, I can't say the same for myself. Right now, I'm watching a load of men in tight shorts kick a funny-shaped ball around a rugby pitch. Not something I expected to be saying tonight. I can't be there this evening, but you are in the very capable hands of my friend Sam Coleman. And of course, she never makes any mistakes or struggles for something to say, so I'm sure the night will go without a hitch.
You're joining us for the MGJ engine. No, I can't do it like that. That's like I'm concentrating. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MGJ Engineering Brands Hatch Winter Stages, organised by... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 4, the MGJ Engineering Brands Hatch Winter Stages, organised by Chelmsford Motor Club. What a day already. No, I can't do that. Damn it!
No pressure for the rest of the evening, Sam. The awards this evening will be celebrating the last few years that we haven't been able to get together. But don't worry, we won't cover all of that in this video when there's important drinking to be done and rally driver stories to exaggerate. Now, before we look at the latest season, we'd like to offer our belated congratulations to our 2019-2020 champions Barry Morris and Tom Hutchings. They took the title in their Darien T90 and were sadly unable to come back and defend that win the following year. And we would also like to congratulate Mark Kelly and Neil Coleman, who, after 5 years of trying in the Escort, decided to make the change to the R5 car in order to try and take the title. A brave move, considering a four-wheel drive car was yet to win the championship. But they finally managed to get their names on that winner's trophy at the 2020-21 double-header finale at Anglesey. Now, there didn't seem to be much of a break between that and the latest season, and we were back on the stages before we knew it at Alton Park, only a few months after finishing at Anglesey. And our reigning champions wouldn't be back, crucially, leaving the door open for a new champion, or perhaps a repeat champion, as Barry Morris will be back to try again in that Darien. Morris and Hutchings wouldn't be the only ones returning either, with plenty of crews throughout the classes coming back out to defend class titles or chase for those overall results. Not everyone would have a good day though. Paul Murrow and Callum Cross will be one of a number of crews getting a puncture early on, dropping out of the running. And right from the beginning of the season, here at round 1, they quickly realised that being out of the running didn't mean you couldn't get your 15 minutes of fame. Crashing in front of the cameras would do the trick as well. An unusual approach, but one they would continue with going forward. Bit awkward. Barry Morris and Mark Fowler had a good day, ending the opening round with 3rd overall. Not the result they would have wanted, but a good one nonetheless. Neil Ruskell had spent last season getting to grips with the R5, and after seeing Mark Kelly take the title last season, he'd know it was now the car to beat. 2nd place at the opening round was a great start to that campaign, even with a little spin in the afternoon. But victory at the opening round would be resounding and would go to Frank Bird and Jack Morton. They started their campaign off with maximum points from this opening round. For the 2nd round of the season, it would be off to the best racetrack in the world, Cadwell Park. And Neil Ruskell would have Andrew Ruffhead alongside now. The change seemed to be working, the pair leading from the start and holding on to that to the finish to take their first championship victory. Barry Morris would go one better than last time out too, taking 2nd place. Back with his championship-winning co-driver Tom Hutchings too, who was happy to put his first points on the board. And rounding out the podium at the 2nd round would be Josh Payton and Jamie Vaughan, previous championship class title winners, now putting in those overall results as well as trying to fling that Escort at every bit of Armco they could find. Paul Murrow and Callum Cross had problems once again at the 2nd round. The season not going well at all so far. Turbo boost pipe issues would mean that they started the day in 8th. That position didn't call for anything quite as drastic as crashing to get on the live stream, but they would look out for the cameras and throw the car off onto the grass as a bit of a compromise. Word was getting around of Murrow's attempts to hog the live stream, and others were thinking they should do the same. Gary Russell and Liam Carfrae getting in on the action in the afternoon stages when they spin the car a couple of times, even doing it in the same place. Well, they say copying's the best type of flattery. Round 3 of the championship would be the last event before the Christmas break. And our opening round winners, Frank Bird and Jack Morton, were back after missing the last round. They started the day with the lead as well. This round at Donington Park would feature some gravel at the end of the stage, with many of the rear-wheel drive crews not happy at the lack of grip in that final section, including our third place finishers from round 2, Josh Payton and Jamie Vaughan. So it was odd that they decided to go and play in the gravel for a while on stage 2, but they looked to be having fun digging around in it anyway. Despite everyone being onto them, Paul Murrow and Callum Cross were still trying their best to get the most screen time on the live coverage and upping their game as well, crashing into things twice in front of one camera this time around. Their plan was certainly working. Luckily, they were still getting some results as well as all of that airtime, finishing 7th. For our round 2 runners-up, Barry Morris and Tom Hutchings, it would be 3rd at round 3. Enough to see Barry tied on points at the top of the table at this stage. That, though, was a position he shared with Neil Ruskell. He and Andrew Ruffhead finishing 2nd this time out and showing just how close the fight for the championship was going to be. But winners for round 3 would once again be Frank Bird and Jack Morton. 2 wins from 2 rounds that they competed on, but with them missing a round last time out, they would have a little way to go to make a climb on that leaderboard. The championship had a short break now over the Christmas period for some turkey, some mince pies, and some re-prep, particularly for Paul Murrow. The drivers may use the downtime to wash the champagne out of their overalls, but for some of the crews, it meant working a second job at the car wash to make ends meet until we started again in January. So with the team back on regular duties after the break, Frank Bird and Jack Morton would return for action at the Brands Hatch stages and leading the way after the morning stages as well, making their mark. Lucky to be there, though, after clipping a bank. That would take more than some soapy water to sort out. They wouldn't be the only ones with a bit of drama either. 2nd place, Neil Ruskell and Andrew Ruffhead would clip the same bank, but not before they'd done a bit of grass cutting. Perhaps this pair had spent the winter doing some gardening and forgot where they were. And they'd keep themselves out of trouble after this, managing to end the event 2nd. Of course, seeing the slippery grass would present a great opportunity for this round's antics for Paul Murrow and Callum Cross. Passengers on the wet grass and taking a closer look at the Brands Hatch barriers for the extended screen time this weekend. They weren't the only ones though. Alistair Ingalls and Will Atkins would do the same. That brand new car only lasting half a lap before they were trying to make it look second-hand again. And making it 3 wins from 3 rounds would be Frank Bird and Jack Morton. But with the racing season starting, this would be the last event we would see the pair, putting them out of contention for the title. Round 5 would see us at Snetterton, and it would present us with a new contender for the series. David Henderson moving up from the 2-wheel drive classes to 4-wheel drive. And with a lead from the start, he would take a commanding victory with championship regular Sean Cunniff alongside. For Neil Ruskell and Andrew Ruffhead, it would be 2nd place once again. Not the victory that they came here looking for, but they were still leading the championship, so they couldn't complain too much. And we're not suggesting for a moment that leading the championship was going to his head, but Neil was now requesting that wife Dawn wipe his feet for him before getting into the car. What a diva. Now we know what you're all thinking. What about Paul Murrow and Callum Cross and their showboating for the cameras? Well, this time, there would be nothing to report. They're actually behaving themselves, apart from the odd cone here and there. But that's just circuit rallying, right? They get a great result of 4th. For round 6, we were back to Donington Park, and it would be previous round winners David Henson and Sean Cunniff on top once again. David may not have been challenging for the title this season, but this pair was showing that they could well have been. They hadn't led from the start though. Neil Ruskell and Andrew Ruffhead would have done that, but a rare mechanical failure would see them pull over at the side of the stage, extending the championship fight to the final round. Dawn would be cleaning gravel off Neil's boots this time around. That would, of course, be good news for Barry Morris and Tom Hutchings. They needed this result, taking second place, and with it, keeping their hopes alive right to the final round back at Cadwell Park. For the final round, the championship returned to the best racetrack in the world. It's in Lincolnshire, by the way, and the title would be going down to the wire in a shootout between Neil Roskell and Barry Morris. The weather would favour the Darien, with Morris and Hutchings leading in the morning. The fight was somewhat out of their hands, though. The maths was complicated, but essentially, Neil Roskell and Andrew Ruff had just had to keep things neat and tidy and finish on the podium. Of course, with a DNF last time out, anything could happen. And that is exactly what would happen. Roskell drops down to third by the end of the day. That was still enough to take the championship victory. Barry Morris taking the rally win at the final round, doing everything that he could have been expected to do, but having to settle for second in that title fight. It had been an extremely close fight to the finish. Only a single point separating two very popular drivers at the end of a grueling and entertaining season. Of course, that is only a very brief look at the top steps of the season. And this championship is all about inclusivity and variety, with some epic battles throughout the classes each season. So to finish off our little recap of the season, we'll leave you with a few highlights of what makes this championship so special. You
take me down, spin me around. You got me running all the lights. Don't make a sound, talk to me now. Let me inside your mind. I don't know what you're thinking, sugar. Ooh, but I just got that feeling, sugar. Ooh, and I can hear the sirens burning, red lights turning. I can't turn back now. So hold on tight. I don't know where the lights are taking us, but something in the night is dangerous, and nothing's holding back the two of us. Baby, this is getting serious. The danger, dangerous. Show me your soul.